retract attacks over to it, maybe absorb a Flare Blitz for Bisharp here, allow it to keep attacking. Bisharp does still need to worry about Landorus's Earthquake here, so things not quite so simple, but at least he does have that boost. So it's a complicated situation for both sides, but not surprised to see Aaron switching here, trying to maneuver into a situation where things are a little bit safer for his own Bisharp here.
Yeah, and of course, Aaron sending out his own Landorus to get the Intimidate off onto both the Talonflame and the Landorus Therian form is going to be pretty huge as well. Brave Bird coming out from Talonflame is going to probably try to predict an attack on that Clefable, but instead gets the Landorus, and that Intimidate not making it, very effective. It takes a little bit of damage as well. Earthquake coming out from Jonathan's Landorus, but with that Intimidate, probably not going to be enough for Bisharp. Hangs on with 3 HP. Knockoff coming out from Bisharp. Knockoff, one of those attacks that we haven't seen in forever. He gets the KO, the first KO with Knockoff. Of course, Knockoff got a huge buff in this generation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's much higher base power than it used to be, and now it also gets a boost in power when it actually knocks off an item. So, huge damage from Bisharp there, and a pretty daring move by both sides, actually. We don't see the Flare Blitz, with Jonathan anticipating Bisharp protecting there, or Follow Me from Clefable, and unfortunately, Aaron doesn't protect at all. He survives that Earthquake, cleverly switching in that Intimidate to make sure that he does, and gets a knockout there. We also don't see Life Orb recoil from Bisharp, so that's some good information for Jonathan. Likely means it's either a Focus Sash, which could have explained part of why he was daring there, or something like a Choice Band, but Focus Sash now much more likely now that we see the Protect.
Yeah, Protect coming out from Bisharp, trying to protect itself from the Earthquake from Jonathan's Landorus. Is not going to be able to deal any damage. Landorus using Knockoff itself onto the Rotom, knocks off the Citrus Berry. That's pretty big, because Rotom loves that recovery from Citrus Berry. Of course, Hydro Pump coming out is going to manage to connect with Landorus and pick up the KO with a critical hit. You can see Aaron's kind of an emotional player. He had the momentum at the start, and now, that critical hit, not great for his Landorus there.
Yeah, I'm sure you're looking at that like, Hydro Pump hit Landorus.
Yeah.
Of course that was going to knock it out, but I actually probably wouldn't have. Aaron, a fan of the Assault Vest Landorus, so with that special defense boost, it's luckily he would have survived it. But it is important for him to have knocked off that Citrus Berry there. He doesn't worry about Rotom healing anymore. Bisharp could still knock it out from this point, so it's a dangerous situation on Jonathan's side here. There's a threat of Fake Out from Kangaskhan. Either Kangaskhan or Bisharp targeting Rotom could knock it out. It's difficult for Landorus here because it is still intimidated. So, while that was a little bit unfortunate for Aaron, probably expecting to keep his Landorus for another turn here, it's still a very manageable situation for him.
Yeah, the critical hit definitely helping Jonathan claw his way back a little bit more in the game, but Aaron just took such a big lead at the start that he'll have to play really well to get back in control of the game. Right now, Aaron sends out his Kangaskhan, and it is going to Mega Evolve right away. Of course, Kangaskhan instantly putting forth that Fake Out pressure. Potentially, part of the Fake Out is you don't always have to use it, but it looks like Bisharp is going to try to protect again. Fails. Kangaskhan goes straight for the return, though, onto the Rotom Wash. Gets the pickup with a one-hit KO. Doesn't even need the second hit. There's a lot of damage coming out from Kangaskhan. Landorus, unfortunately, does get the Unfortunately for Aaron, does get the Earthquake off. Will be able to pick up the KO on Bisharp. Bisharp not able to do anything else the rest of this game, but did some work while it was out.
Yeah, I mean, it got a decent amount of work done. I'm a little bit surprised not to see it go for the Sucker Punch there and just try to get as much out of that turn as he can. Or could have, rather. I mean, would easily have at least knocked it into range where Kangaskhan could have taken care of Landorus here. But with Maul coming out there, perhaps it's why Aaron is going for the double protect there, and knowing that losing Bisharp there was likely going to mean that he didn't have a good way of dealing with Maul here. He's going to have a tough road there. Kangaskhan is intimidated now. Landorus is obviously still out and creating some pressure, and I don't know, it's tough. Kangaskhan, one of the main reasons that Maul was so good last year is because it dealt with Kangaskhan so well. Clefable, being a Fairy-type Pokemon, is not going to want to redirect too much to help Kangaskhan out here. So, tough spot for Aaron here in Game 1. It looks like Jonathan will probably take this one, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, that Mawile in the back really changing the course of this game. Intimidate coming out onto Kangaskhan, really big for Jonathan as well. Part of why Mawile was so crucial last year. Mawile going to protect, while Clefable uses Follow Me. Of course, with Landorus using that Earthquake, probably not too worried about Follow Me. A return comes out from Kangaskhan onto Landorus, dealing good damage, about 50%. Earthquake coming out will be able to deal some damage to both the Kangaskhan and Clefable. Really needs to pick up a lot of damage on that Kangaskhan, though. Not quite. Still hanging on with about 39 HP, while Clefable recovers off some health of its own with its leftovers.
Yeah, so one tricky thing here is that we do see a lot of choice items on Landorus, and I'm going to guess that Jonathan's Landorus is likely not using something like an Assault Vest where it can change moves. So herein lies the problem. The next Earthquake from Landorus is going to knock out Kangaskhan. However, Mawile doesn't like being Earthquaked very much, so it could go down just as easily, and it wouldn't be too improbable for us to see a duel between Landorus and Clefable here.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. Of course, the Landorus even a little bit slower than the Kangaskhan too, allowing Kangaskhan to get off an attack before Landorus can Earthquake it down. Making for really interesting mind games here. Does Mawile try to go for the double protect here? Is that the only play?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mawile has to. The only alternative, I think, is if you want to try to catch Clefable trying to attack here to weaken Landorus for the next turn, but I don't know, it's a dangerous situation here. It's kind of the trouble of using Landorus as the choice item when you don't have a bunch of Earthquake resist on your team.
Mawile Mega Evolves, goes for the double protect, gets it. Of course, when you Mega Evolve, that means you always get a protect off, even if it's not likely. But Clefable trying to redirect just in case of a Sucker Punch. Return comes out from Kangaskhan onto Landorus, though. So gets the pickup, gets the KO onto Landorus, and just leaves Mawile up against both Kangaskhan and Clefable.
And so after all that, the double protect doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, kind of a smart play by Aaron in that regard, not taking chances, I guess. It's still not a great situation for him, but I don't know that he, even with the double protect having not worked, if he would be able to claw his way out of that one. So at least this way, he's in control. He's not banking on anything random happening, but... it's kind of funny, actually. I mean, when I saw that protect them all, I was like, oh, well, the game's over, but it actually didn't matter at all.
Yeah, it's a good play by Aaron. He might be able to get some power-up punch boosts to make Kangaskhan a little bit more of a threat against that Mawile, while Clefable can redirect at least one attack away from that Kangaskhan. So it's going to be a testament of how much damage Clefable can soak up versus how much damage Kangaskhan can do in just 2 turns. And Clefable going to follow me right away. Going to protect Kangaskhan while Kangaskhan tries to get those boosts. Power-up punch comes out. Going to get the first punch. Going to get the second punch, giving Kangaskhan 2 boosts to its attack. Of course, negating that Intimidate and giving it basically +1 attack. You can see attack rises twice. Iron Head predicting the follow me. Needs to take out that Clefable. Is going to be enough to pick up the KO on Clefable. Critical hit. That happens. Critical hit helps, certainly. Huge power Mawile, I don't particularly know. Depends on how Aaron has trained his Clefable.
Yeah,
but
with its health that low, I don't think that hit was too critical at all. We are actually in an interesting situation here. Looking at this, you think, oh, Mawile just uses Sucker Punch, game over. But if Kangaskhan Sucker Punches instead, or also Sucker Punch from Mawile would fail.
Yeah, so Kangaskhan uses Sucker Punch. Did Mawile go for it as well? We'll have to see. Yes, went for the Sucker Punch. It fails.
So game's not over yet. Aaron...
So this is entirely mind games now.
Looking at the damage there, Kangaskhan, Aaron may still need to be right twice more. I guess right once with the return or twice with a Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
But the game's really dangerous now because if another Sucker Punch fails, Kangaskhan can just keep Sucker Punching. It will win eventually because it'll at least end up on health and win on time. So
and you can just see the strain on Jonathan's face.
Whoever predicts correctly this turn is going to win the game. Either if Mawile Sucker Punches into Kangaskhan Sucker Punch, Aaron will win. And if neither of them Sucker Punch, Aaron will win. The only way that Jonathan can win here is if Aaron falls back on return and
Sucker Punch again from Kangaskhan is going to get off that first.
Yeah, Iron Head will win the game here if Sucker Punch doesn't KO.
Oh, so close. Not very effective. 2 times hits. Mawile goes for the Sucker Punch. So Aaron Traylor is going to be able to pick this up.
Yeah,
most likely.
Yeah. Well, here's the trick here.
Likely.
Yeah, for Aaron to win the game now. That's dangerous.
Sucker Punch. Okay. Jonathan goes for the attack. Aaron is going to pick it up. Such a tense moment there. And Aaron Traylor picks up the Game 1 win.
Ooh, that was
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised Aaron kept playing.